On Wednesday, September 8th, Macomb Township officially opened the Public Safety Center with a special ribbon-cutting ceremony. It's been a long time in the works, but everyone is excited to finally see it completed.
Certainly today's the day. Everyone's been looking forward to it for quite a while. The weather's perfect, it's a great day, and we're looking forward to celebrating with the Township and the residents their new public safety building.
Township's very excited. This has been a long time coming. Obviously a project this size always takes a long time, but we had to navigate through COVID to really get it done. That caused a bunch of delays. But everyone involved in the project did a great job. It's a beautiful building, and this building is going to stand for the Township and stand for our residents for a very long time.
Today's an exciting day. We've watched this from the demolition of Station 1 to the final product here, and I think it's a wonderful asset to the Township and to our residents, and it's a beautiful, beautiful building that will service many.
It's very exciting. I mean, not only for me as the sheriff and an individual that used to work out here in Macomb Township back in the 90s. It is just a great facility for the deputies, for the residents of Macomb Township, partnering also with the fire department, great working environment. So we really look forward to being in here and providing the services that we've always provided to the residents of Macomb Township. But the one thing that this facility does, it has room for growth.
As a kid born and raised in the kind of law enforcement community and public safety, it's exciting because I see that, people in Macomb County do care about their public safety. Whether it's a millage or, purchasing a facility and obviously hiring law enforcement or firefighters and even EMS personnel. They're always willing to do that because they understand the importance of public safety. And so to me, having been part of that community, I tend to look at a building like this and I think, this is absolutely beautiful because, when you have a nice building like this, it brings about that sense of, that pride you have. But there's no question about it. When you look at the law enforcement officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel, and the support staff that's there to help them, keep them going every day, it's that pride they have inside to do what it is they do. This tells them that a community cares about them and is willing to put forth money to make sure they have a facility so they can work out of. And I got to tell you, here in Macomb Township, they did a bang-up job. This is the most incredible facility I think I have seen in and around Macomb County.
And now, here is the full ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially open the Public Safety Center.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ribbon cutting and grand opening of the Joseph E. Koss Public Safety Building. At this time, I would ask everyone that is able to please rise for the presentation of colors and the singing of the national anthem. We are pleased to have with us this morning from Lutheran North High School, Macomb Township's very own Miss Brooke POZZI, who will perform the national anthem. Honor Guard, please present the colors. Well, good morning. Good morning again. Please be seated. So I'd like to welcome everyone. My name is Bob Phillips. I serve as the fire chief for Macomb Township and have had the honor to oversee the construction of this project. Today we've come to completion where we can introduce the ribbon cutting and the grand opening for the public to see exactly what it is that they have provided police and fire to work with. At this time, I'd like to take a minute to recognize the officials and dignitaries that have taken their time this morning to be present. First, our supervisor, Frank Viviano, clerk, KRISTI POZZI, our trustees, Peter Lucido, Frank Guzmano, Charlie Oliver, and Nancy Nevers. We also have County Executive Mark Hackle, Sheriff Anthony Wickersham, Macomb County Clerk Anthony Forlini, Deputy Clerk of Macomb County Kathy Smith, our Senator Mike McDonald, State Representative Jeff Urick, County Commissioner Joe Sabatini, County Commissioner Harold Haw, Roseville City Council Member Catherine Haw, and Janet Dunn, our former supervisor. At this time, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Sheriff Anthony Wickersham.
Well, good morning and welcome. What a beautiful day. Let's take a walk down memory lane. 20 years ago, I worked out of this substation. Our room was 20 by 20. We had some lockers and we had 2 typewriters to do our reports. We had 3 cars to share between each shift. I believe that fire dispatching was done from the basement of a resident here in Macomb Township. The population was a low 20,000. Hall Road, 2 lanes, 21-mile dirt road. Farmland was abundant here in Macomb Township, but the township started to grow. 20 years later, population is close to 90,000. We have retail, manufacturing, housing is booming, medical offices, hospitals, car dealerships. You name it, they're coming to Macomb Township. Hall Road, 4 lanes in both directions. 21-mile, finally paved. A major thoroughfare to the largest high school in the state of Michigan. We have a state-of-the-art dispatch center for police, fire, EMS. Macomb Township continues to grow. I truly believe it'll be the largest township in the state of Michigan, and it'll be the largest municipality here in Macomb Township. We now have a beautiful state-of-the-art substation. Now comes the thank yous. I would like to thank all the previous boards over the last 20 years who assured the residents of Macomb Township that they would have adequate police protection as this township continued to grow. And this building is that proof. I am very confident that our current supervisor, Mr. Viviano, Clerk POZZI, Mr. Drillette, the treasurer, and the current Macomb Township board will continue with the vision of public safety here in the township, keeping their residents safe, and will collaborate with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office as we are committed to providing the best law enforcement service to the residents of Macomb Township, the individuals that travel through Macomb Township, and those that work here in Macomb Township. So I would like to thank the township for providing the state-of-the-art building for our deputy sheriffs. Again, 20 years ago it was 20 by 20 room, and a majority of the deputies that are working out of this township today weren't even born. So with that, I'd like to say thank you.
Next, Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle.
Thank you, Bob. Tony, thank you. And again, this is quite an exciting day. You stop and think about where we're at. We're in the cusp of a 20-year commemoration of 9/11. We just got through dealing with probably one of the largest pandemics that many of us have ever dealt with and seen, and we're about a year and a half into that. And you sit and you look around and you try to figure out, what's important to people, what's important to the public. And I think those significant events kind of highlight the importance of public safety in our communities. But if you also look at the recent data that we just got from the census, specific to Macomb County and Macomb Township, it was incredible the numbers of people that have moved or migrated to Macomb County, and specifically to Macomb Township. And there's a reason why. I truly believe that public safety is key at heart with everyone who lives in a community. People don't move to where they don't feel safe. They don't move someplace where they don't feel welcome. They don't move places where their educational opportunities aren't good for their children. They move to places because they know this is a place to raise a family and live a safe life. And I gotta tell you, it's exciting here in Macomb County, having spent 30 years in law enforcement. And as Tony mentioned, the history of this place and the history of the community before we were here. Tony forgot to leave out that they also had hitching posts out front of the old stations that we had here because we had gone way back. But you know what? There's a sense of pride all of us have that are in law enforcement. And those of us that are firefighters or EMS, anybody in public safety, and even those that are service providers that are there, making sure that those that are out there on the front line are getting what they need to make things happen. This building is absolutely beautiful on the outside. It is gorgeous. It's a representation of not only the current board, past boards, but even the people in this community that want to fund their law enforcement, that want to fund their public safety, so that they know they're going to have a safe community. But you know what's more important than the beauty of this exterior of this building? Is the pride inside. And what do I mean by that? Every firefighter, every police officer, every EMS worker, and everyone that provides services to support those people have a sense of pride in what they do for their community. Past, present, and those we hope to bring on board into the future. So folks, here in Macomb County, there is something we do stand for, and that's funding our public safety. And this is a testament to that on the outside, but I gotta tell you, there's an incredible amount of pride on those men and women that do what they do each and every day for the public that they do it for. So congratulations, thank you for this facility, but more importantly, thank you to all of you that are out there making sure you're keeping our community safe here in Macomb County. Thank you, and God bless.
Next is Mr. David Koss, Macomb Township Fire Department Captain, and the son of the late Joseph E. Koss, who this building is named after.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the ribbon cutting ceremony this morning for the new public safety building. It's been an honor to be here this morning to dedicate this new facility to my father, Joseph E. Koss. My father was my father, along with many residents and supported the Township Board, started the fire department in 1952 with one pumper and a fire station. Since that wasn't enough, through door-to-door collection of the township residents, a second truck called the tanker was purchased. Dad's commitment to this community as chief continued for many years. Unfortunately for us, my father passed in 1977. I would like to think he received the ultimate promotion to the fire service in heaven. But better yet, his legacy continues today. My brothers, James, Richard, and I grew up in Macomb Township Fire Department. If we ever needed to see our dad, we knew where to find him. We just run across the street. Being family of farmers, we went from the tractor to the fire truck. The fire phone was the most important phone in our home because when it rang, the residents were calling for help in time of emergency. Every member of the fire department, including my mother, served this department. In total, we committed over 150 years of service. We wouldn't change a thing, and it's been an honor. From this point forward is history. I'd like to take a moment to commend all the dedicated residents, men and women, that stepped forward from 1952 through the present time who became a firefighter for Macomb Township. Their commitment, dedication, and sacrifice not only to themselves but to their families to serve the residents of this community should be greatly commended. And I thank you. More importantly, I'd like to thank Chief Phillips and the Macomb Township Board for their support and dedication of this new facility to my father, Joseph Koss. My family and I are honored. I would like to commend all the officers and firefighters of the Macomb Township Fire Department for their commitment and continued service to the residents of this community. Thank you, and God bless.
And next, Mr. Frank Viviano, Macomb Township Supervisor.
Well, good morning. What a great day. And what a great day, the weather, and what a great day for this township and this community. A project of this size takes a lot of people working together to make it happen. From the masons and the carpenters and the electricians and the plumbers and the engineers and all the people at Town Hall, past and present, and everybody that touched this project, we owe you a debt of thanks. This project like this doesn't come together unless there's a spirit of cooperation. And it's a spirit of cooperation that we want to reflect as a township board. These men and women over to the side are dedicated professionals that keep us safe every single day. This facility allows them to do the best that they can do for us. We appreciate your hard work every day, and we look forward to what you can do with this facility in the future. So thank you. You know, it's hard enough to bring a project of this size together, and then to do it during a pandemic when everything went haywire, when the world went sideways, is even harder. I want to make special note to thank Chief Phillips for what he did in shepherding this project through to completion to get here today. It was no easy task. The circumstances became extraordinary, and what we ended up with is an amazing facility. To the residents, I want you to know that this building, when you see it, I want you to recognize that this is our commitment. This reflects our commitment to your public safety. Public safety is one of the few things that all of us can point to and say, yes, this is a key government function. This is what we're supposed to do, both as a community and as a township board. We want to keep you safe in every aspect of your life so that you can go about living the best life that you can. To reflect what Executive Hackle said, people are moving here in record numbers for a reason. And a big part of that are what these men and women do every day. So when you see this investment, recognize that we are doing everything we can to keep you safe, and we will continue to do that now and in the future. So thank you to everybody for coming out today. Thank you to all of you who made this possible. And I have nothing but gratitude, and I am humbled that we have this amazing facility that we can now call our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Today is a day that many of us have dreamed about for a long time. In 2006, when I interviewed for the fire chief position, the demolition and building of a new fire station 1 was discussed. The previous station had outlived its life expectancy and was deemed to not be financially feasible to remodel or add on to. Over the next 10 years, discussions would take place off and on regarding the need for a new building for the fire department and the sheriff department, but nothing ever came to fruition. Every conversation would end with, as soon as they do something with 23 Mile Road, then we can discuss further. In December of 2015, on the last workday before the Christmas break, a Christmas miracle happened. Supervisor Janet Dunn called me to her office, and when I arrived, she was standing outside of her door with a huge smile on her face. I wasn't sure what was going on, but she was like a kid waiting to tell someone a secret. "Is everything okay?" I asked. Her smile grew as she nodded her head up and down, and then burst out, "You're getting a new fire station." After a couple of cartwheels down her hallway, well, maybe a few attempted cartwheels down her hallway, I asked her what she was talking about. She informed me that they had just received notification that the federal government had funded the widening of 23 Mile Road, and the fire station and substation had to be tore down as they'd be in the new road right-of-way. And then she gave me the rest of the story. The road was scheduled to be widened in 2018, leaving us only 2 years to demolish and construct a new building. 2 years may sound like a lot of time, but I can assure you it isn't when it comes to a project of this magnitude. Fortunately, our township engineer, Jim Van Tifflin, went to work on our behalf and convinced the officials at the county to work with us in widening the road, and they agreed. As soon as we returned to work from the holiday break, I immediately met with Supervisor Dunn to discuss the plan for the project. Supervisor Dunn stated the board had several requirements for the new building. First, it would be a public safety building that would house both police and fire. Second, there was to be no doubt when driving down 23 Mile Road, everyone would know first and foremost it was their fire station. Third, the building had to fit into the neighborhood. And fourth, and most importantly, it was not to go over budget. Okay, I thought to myself, especially with the budget requirement, that's whoever they put in charge of the project's problem to deal with. Then shortly afterwards, Ms. Dunn informed me that the board had decided I would serve as the owner's representative, and the budget then became my problem. Meetings were held with Captain Briney, who at the time was the lieutenant assigned to the township's substation, to discuss the needs of his department. Several meetings took place, and a list of wants, needs, and would-be nice-to-haves was developed. Specifications were developed for architectural services, and the bid was awarded to AEW. AEW came on board and listened to the ideas that we had generated, and based on that, the size and the constraints of the site, developed 5 different designs. The designs were shared with members of the board and several department heads, and the design that you see today is the one that was picked and presented to the board for approval. Once the design was decided upon, AEW wrote the specifications and bids were sought for construction. Burnco Incorporated from St. Clair Shores was selected as the general contractor in the fall of 2018, and they immediately went to work. All of the utilities for this complex, including broadcast media and the senior center, went right down the middle of the site, and everything had to be relocated, including all of the utilities and power and cabling for the cell tower that's located behind us. In December 2018, 2 years to the day of being notified that the building had to come down, the sheriff's substation was demolished in order to start the utility relocation. That project continued until midsummer of 2019, when construction of the apparatus bays began. In the fall of 2019, construction of the sheriff garage started. The original construction schedule showed the apparatus bays being completed the first week of February 2020. The bays had to be finished first to allow us to move the fire trucks in before the old station could be torn down. The bays were completed 2 days ahead of schedule, and everything was on track for the project to be completed on time. Then that one little thing in March called COVID happened. The footings were poured on the administrative portion of the building that we're standing in front of, and 2 courses of concrete block had been laid when the order was issued to shut everything down. Construction resumed in May, and like everyone else in the country, it was a struggle for the subcontractors to get their employees to return to work and to stay healthy, but they continued to work towards completing the project. I hope that the requirements established by the board have been met. It has truly been an honor to serve as the owner's representative on this project, and although it was not completed as originally planned, I am proud to report that this project will come in under budget. At one of the upcoming board meetings, I'll be presenting to the board a final change order reducing the amount of the contract. I'd like to take a moment to thank those that played a significant role in making this project a reality and the success that it is. First and foremost, AEW for designing a beautiful building, and Burnco, and especially site manager Marty Anderson, for building it. I know I wasn't always easy to work with, but Marty has and continues to have the best interest of the township as his top priority. I'm positive he's looking forward to moving on to the next job, where he'll never have to hear me utter the words, Just so we're clear, the township isn't paying a single penny more. Building official Joe Maples and his staff, Water and Sewer Director Jerry Wanglin and his staff, Township Engineer Jim Van Tifflin, IT Manager Bob Ivanovsky, Facility and Grounds Manager Jason Gelly and his staff, Captain Briney and Lieutenant Stevens of the Sheriff Department, my administrative staff consisting of Deputy Chief Monroe, Sarah Biscano, Linda Grattini, and Mary Beth Carrig, and certainly the previous Board of Trustees and the current Board of Trustees, and most importantly, the residents of Macomb Township. At this time, I'd like to ask Chaplain Seitz to come forward and lead us in the benediction.
A couple of months ago, I told Chief Phillips that every time I drove by this site, I was reminded of the temple that Solomon built. Not because of any religious connotation, but it took Solomon 12 years to build it. For a while, I was thinking Janelle and I were going to be moved in next door before I got moved in here. But here we are today. And after engineering challenges, and after supply chain challenges, and certainly after an 18-month pandemic, it's only fitting that the dignitaries here today would give thanks where thanks is due, and it's my privilege to do the same. Would you please join me as we go before the throne of grace? Heavenly Father, we gather here today to celebrate the opening of this building. And we come, Lord, in a spirit of thanksgiving. We're thankful not only for this facility, Lord, but for all of the facilities, the equipment, and the apparatus that you provide for this community and for the safety of its people. But we are not naive, God. We know that the greatest asset that any community, any government has is the men and women who protect it. And so we do not ask your blessing upon these walls today. We ask your blessing upon the work that will be done within these walls. We ask your blessing on those who will come to and from this place in carrying out their duty. We're reminded of the words that you spoke to your prophet Isaiah when you said, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you." And it is for that safety, Lord, that we ask upon our deputies, our firefighters, and our EMS personnel. And Lord, it is my personal request and the request of many who are with me here today that each one of those individuals would come to know you personally and carry out their duties, Lord, and their calling from this day forward in your strength. We pray these things in the very precious, the holy, and the ever so strong name of your Son and our Savior. And everyone said, amen.
So, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, after nearly 6 years and a lot of hard work by money, I would ask that you do this the honor, come forward, cut the ribbon, and officially open the Joseph E. Koss Public Safety Building.
Public Safety Center is located on 23 Mile Road just west of Heidenreich. For more information, visit macomb-mi.gov. We thank you for watching another edition of Spotlight Macomb.